Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera to my members, viewers and the most important person, our lecturer, Dr. Muhammad. We are from Group 7 UMP DMM 3011 Occupational Safety and Health will make our presentation project Industry Hazard Case Study about the fault of Pemberton Mill in Lawrence. This presentation project also, we had made some discussion about it before we done recording audio and make a video. So, this is our group members who made done this project so far. Firstly, for our introduction in this project Industry Hazard Case Study about the title The Fall of Pemberton Mill in Lawrence. The first point is, before Pemberton Mill was collapsed and fall, the Pemberton Mill was a large factory in Lawrence, Massachusetts because it was a 5-story building 280 feet long and 84 feet wide. So, this disaster began around 6 p.m. on January 10, 1860. The Associated Press sent a cable to notify the world of the news, announcing that one of the most terrible catastrophes on record occurred in the city this afternoon. Then, a second disaster struck. 2 rescuers were climbing the rubble around 11 p.m. As they entered a crevice, one of their lanterns broke and spilled its flaming oil over nearby debris. The fire had plenty of fuel, in the form of broken timber and oil-soaked cotton from the machines. The collapse had become a conflagration. Despite fire rescue efforts, those trapped in the rubble when the fire struck were killed. On one hand, that so many survived such a massive building collapse was remarkable. Of some 600 people, over 400 lives by efforts of escape or rescue. On the other hand, they still left many dead, with estimates of the body count ranging from 90 to 145. Move on to the other slide is study objectives. In this study objectives, we had 4 things that we expected to achieve something important in our project, such as prevention, to prevent from injuries and reduce losses that always happen before this. That is because many organizations that had accidents at work before this have the same problems in reducing the number of incidents because they are still shocked by what happened to them from incidents that have occurred, such as Pemberton Mill in Lawrence, which occurred in 1860. Next is identify the properties losses for the company and the injuries happened due to the accident. It is because we can identify that the fewer injuries received by the workers in the workplace will result in lower costs to be incurred to treat patients affected by accidents, because in the event of an unexpected accident. The third one is to learn causes of the accident so we can avoid the mistake that happened and be prepared to get the treatment they need as soon as possible if an unexpected accident happens again. And the last one is sharp our skills in hazard identifications, because we need to gain more knowledge and make some preparation to prevent an accident in the future. Go on to the next slide is the accident background. Like I said in the introduction, it was happened on the January 10, the main buckled and crashed without warning, killing dozens of people instantly and trapping hundreds more under tons of rubble. Dozens were died within minutes of the factory's collapse. Later the night, as rescuers frantically tried to free victims stay alive under the debris, a fire broke out and ignited the piles of splintered wood and oil-soaked cotton bales and textiles at the site. Many of the bodies were mangled beyond recognition. By midnight, the screams of the trapped and burning victims fell silent. They were laid out in a large room on an upper story of Lawrence City Hall so their friends and family could try to recognize them. In all, an estimated 145 workers perished and 166 were injured in the horrific collapse and ensuing conflagration. Some mistakes were due to lack of sufficient scientific and engineering knowledge, but some were simply due to ignorance and overconfidence. A jury found Charles Bigelow responsible for the collapse because he allowed malformed cast iron columns to support the structure, but at the end, and in fact, no one received any punishment for the preventable disaster. Modern analysts also found the owners crammed too many heavy textile machines onto the fourth floor. After the Pemberton mill collapsed, the owners completely rebuilt it. The mill still stands today.
Hi, my name is Shibila. I'm the next presenter of the Akmal. I'm going to talk about the accident analysis, effects, and the after effects. So the accident analysis is a core of investigating the causes of any accidents. It helps to identify, classify, and present all causes based on available information. We have used the two-flow model as an effective method to help us finding causes down to all details. Organizational influences, resource management. The fact that financial panic has broken out has made banks in the United States need to contract loans, which caused farmers, merchants, and manufacturers go bankrupt or temporarily cease operations. That is why the building that is sold to George Howe and David Nevins was made by the low-quality materials. Unsafe supervision, supervisory violation. The investigators that have visited the collapsed factory have seen from their analysis the brick walls that supporting the building were improperly mortared and the iron pillars that supporting the floors were economical and fragile. Nevertheless, they still want to overlooking them because they know the huge earnings they will get in the middle of crisis that only made them more unquenchable of money. They kept trusting the number of workforces, machinery, and looms into the building. Preconditions of unsafe acts from environmental factor. The American stock market is in a state of quiescence and prices are irregular, and businessmen generally are not inclined to hazard much until they can see clearer what is to be the result of the present financial storm at home and abroad. This is a quote from the news that has been relayed to Dublin, Ireland, from Freeman's Journal and Daily Commercial Advertiser. This is all because of Panic 1857. This crisis has made the stock traders within the United States and Europe that has connection with the bank in the United States will lose a lot of money previously because the news that United States has been having a crisis which might cause of the fall amount of gold mines that affected the relationship between the stock traders and the United States Bank. They became wary of the potential of them getting any profits from investing their money to their US bank since the bank market price has lowered at the start of the crisis. These are the pictures in the financial panic in 1857. These are the situations in them. So I'm going to talk about the effects now. Effects to victims. 800 mine worker operative, mostly women and children that mainly came from Ireland because of potato famine accident. Yankees from Maine, New Hampshire, and fresh new Hardy immigrants were in working have caught up by the rubble of the ruins. 600 workers has been tormented with the wreckage of twisted iron, destroyed bricks, and splintered beams. The effect of the fire. 145 died of the accidental light-out fire. It has broken out accidentally by the two rescuers who tried to get a woman trapped, and one of the oil lanterns that they brought along to light on the path has knocked over the rubbles, so the flame quickly contacted the product waste such as cottons and woods that already drenched with liquid oil from the crushing bricks. Effect on the plane. After all the commotion of the disaster, all the blame is pointed to Captain Charles Bigler because he is the one who built it and sold them to the owners, George Howe and David Nevins. However, he doesn't need to go to prison because he's not particularly the main cause of the building to fall because he has asked for the original owner's improvement about the materials that he used for the building, which was a substandard version. The after effect. More businesses and employers started to realize how important it is to take care of the employees' well-being, and because of the fact that the need for workers' protection as public support was not well known enough to the public, large businesses still held the great power of the workers and continued pushing them to keep working harder. The collapse of the Pemberton mill did alarm the citizens, the press, the manufacturers, and the architects of the importance of structuring building more attentively using appropriate and dependable materials, but they doesn't act on it. But after 50 years, it probably be discussed by the legal system until a disaster came, which is the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire, just about 50 years after the Pemberton mill collapse. This is the situation where the Triangle Shirtwaist building was in fire.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Iskandar and I am the next presenter. Then let's continue with effect. The 1860 collapse of the Pemberton mill, a 5-story brick factory located near the corner of Canal and Union Street in Lawrence, ranked together of the worst industrial disaster in the Commonwealth history. It gives us a big effect to the worker. Estimate of amount killed by the collapse and subsequent fire vary from 90 to 145. The mill worker that has several injured, about 200 people, were saved by the rescuer. So, what the good and bad effect of the collapse? The good effect of this incident, everyone realized how important it is to take care of the employees. It is really important to take care of them. How will it affect the company if has an accident? The company will have a big cost to pay because of the incident. The indirect cost of a workplace accident can run anywhere from 4 to 10 times the quantity of direct costs. In some cases, indirect costs are often 20 times higher. It also alarmed the citizens, the press, the manufacturers, and the architects of the importance of structuring a building. A poor health and safety culture are often disasters for your business, client, and appliance. So, it's important to take position, time, and money to argue it. The failure to put in adequate health and safety procedure may result in serious injury or fatalities. And for the bad effect of the collapse of Pemberton mill is will give trauma to the included worker in the incident. In the first day and week after a traumatic event, people often experience strong feeling of fear, sadness, guilt, anger, or grief. As they start to form sense of what went on to them, this feeling usually begin to subside. It makes the worker can go work again. As a conclusion, this report discusses the cause and occurrence of collapse and fire, a big industry problem. How this event have occurred and method to scale back collapse, severity, and fire prevention technique were discussed. From the way the result of the research have collected and their accurate it means seem to be proven that there are some issues health and safety coordinated deemed necessary to station their job performance. These are communication, negotiation, and commitment to the project. All of those got to hand in hand with effectiveness and efficiency. As a student study in cost engineer, the study of the project will increase our knowledge in risk assessment with the workplace, which can greatly help for us if we apply job as an engineer, because we will make use of this data to extend the security requirement within the working place consistent with the regulation and standard OSH. So, as to supply a security and hard workplace for the worker, We succeeded our research and prepared to form a full project report. The conclusion drawn from the project described during this paper will help good the reader to know in each a part of health and safety that link to the present accident as how to assist them better perform their duties and has manage safety in construction work. I think that's all from me. Thank you. I think that's all from my team. Thank you for listening. Stay safe at home.